One of the unique things about Iceland, the land of fire and ice, is that it's in the Arctic Circle in some parts, and winter comes and it's completely dark. Followed by the spring, where in some parts of Iceland the sun begins to shine, but in other parts it's still dark. There's a big mountain blocking the sun. The earth has been rotating, the sun has been waiting to shine its beautiful light on these villagers, but the mountain is in the way. But when the sun finally shines on the mountain villages in the valleys, I love how they celebrate. They celebrate with pancakes. They don't move and find better sunlight. They think this is the day we celebrate with pancakes. And here in Iceland, we're lucky to have then this spring that blooms, and people who have survived the winter and know each other well, they say, thank you for the winter. It's a way of saying thank you for the hardship, but for our strength, for our community, and for coming together to survive. And when spring comes to Iceland, it's probably actually May. It's not February or March as it is in many other places, but people really feel spring fever. The birds begin to sing new love songs. The slush begins to melt. And I now invite you to imagine spring in Reykjavik. Beautiful little crocuses are coming out of the ground, the color golden yellow. It's a sign that life is going to start again with new hope, new energy, new seeds. Now this spring in Reykjavik, Iceland, something unusual happened, and the police came to downtown. I invite you now to shout out some ideas of the least likely reason the police came. It wasn't pancakes, not pancakes. Can anyone give me an answer or a suggestion? Why did the police show up in spring in Reykjavik? Noise complaint, very good. Any other suggestions? Escaped animal. Maybe there was a cat or something got out of the zoo. Yes, polar bear came over from the Arctic Circle. One more suggestion, please.
Juvenile kids gone rioting.
Very good, juvenile kids gone rioting. These are fantastic reasons to keep the police in business. And I must say, for anyone who does not live in Iceland and might be watching this talk in the future, Iceland doesn't have an army. It relies on other forces and hopes for peace and goodwill, but the police this day, they showed up in Reykjavik, not the army, because there is no army, because people were, wait for it, people were dancing in public in a kind of strange way. They were moving their bodies, and it was a little bit different than the norm. And this is part of what I'm really excited to share with you today, that it was so unusual to see people dancing that the police showed up in the spring in Reykjavik. Thank you for the dancing, thank you for the winter, thank you to the police. I'd like to imagine the police people went home that day and their partners, their loved ones, their friends might have said, hey, anything unusual happened today? Anything interesting? Yes, today I had to go to downtown Reykjavik. Not for a noise complaint or runaway cat, but because people were dancing and it made me laugh. And so when we as humans do things that are a little bit different, it can sometimes be scary. It can sometimes require maybe the police checking it out. But when we dare to be different, and when we dare to be ourselves as who we are truly, we inspire others to do the same. So perhaps maybe secretly now the police start their day with a little bit of a dance warm-up like they saw downtown Reykjavik. For this moment now, I invite you to go inward. Close your eyes and imagine a friend of yours who makes you laugh. Who is that friend, and how do they make you laugh? Send them some good energy. Send them a funny text one day. Send them a funny thought. And here in this space, keep that friend in your mind. For me, my circle of friends, I'm lucky that we find ways to have either dark humor, black humor, or just good old-fashioned fun. The kind of friend that I can count on to pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. You want to come? And we go out and make some merry together, some shenanigans. Good, clean fun most of the time. When I was 10, my family left Los Angeles and moved to Arkansas. I'm from the United States, and this was a really big move in my life. I met the most unusual people in Arkansas because they were so different from me. They were quite similar to each other, but quite different than me. I left a place where people came from all over. And the way folks spoke English in Arkansas was quite different than how they did in Los Angeles. When we first got there, I got a taste of Southern hospitality. It's something famous in the American South. Would y'all like a soda? Was what they said to me. And my younger brother and I, we were about to have our first Coke or our soda, because the translation was, would you like a soda? But my father, an Arab American who was doing a translation project between languages, was always a jokester. And he would reply to, would y'all like a soda? He would say, yes, I work for the Saudi project. And we were always so embarrassed, my brother and I, like, no, we really would just like to have a Coke, please. But this was just my father's way of making light of a situation, because we didn't drink Coke at home, we didn't drink sodas. And of course, they weren't assuming that they knew my father worked for this Saudi American cooperation project. But he would go to the nearby towns on the weekends with us, and he would show us these towns like population 400, the name of the town, Bono, Arkansas. It was on a train railroad stop from the 1800s. And he would say to them in the stores, did you know that Michael Jackson is coming to Bono? And he never was coming to Bono, it's 400 people. But this would be something that would spread a little mischief, spread a little bit of laughter, a little different thought. I'd like to imagine the store worker goes home that day like trying to find Michael Jackson tickets. It's before the internet, it was a lot harder to do. So my father, my mother, my brother and I, 4 Arab Americans from Los Angeles, it's 1982. We arrive in Jonesboro, Arkansas. 32,404, we like to joke, the 4 of us. This was the first place in my life, as about teenager years, where I really understood how important it was to be me. I was not like most of the people in the town. I was very welcomed by these folks, but I had to find my voice. I had to find my tribe. I made the cheerleading team. The neighbors came over, and they had found out about this before my parents. This was big news to make the cheerleading team. And these were the same neighbors that welcomed us when we arrived by saying, I knew y'all weren't Saudi because I saw you wearing Ralph Lauren, which is translated as, I knew you were not Saudi because I saw you wearing a certain kind of shirt, Ralph Lauren. It was like a trademark, you could say. So I make the cheerleading team, and the neighbor boy comes over. He's a few years older than I'm a teenager, and he says, when are you going to shave your legs? Translation, when are you going to look like what I think you should look like? When are you going to shave your legs? So I asked my mom, Mom, when am I going to shave my legs? Oh, don't worry about him. My mom wasn't really keen on having me shave my legs to please the neighbor boy, and I'm so grateful that she gave me the confidence to allow myself to be different. So I asked you earlier to think of your friend, the one who helps you have some fun. And I'm gonna invite you now to do a little cheer that we would do as cheerleaders to help bring energy when things are feeling tense, things are feeling down. And here we weren't different at all. We all had to do it together in unison. So imagine you're with your friends, you're at a game, you're having fun, or you're watching on television, and here's the cheer. It starts with ready, okay. Ready? Okay. Good job. I love you guys are primed up. This is fantastic. Good. So the cheer is go bananas, go bananas, and I'm sure you can do this because the melody is very simple. Go bananas, go bananas. All right?
Go bananas, go bananas.
Go bananas, go bananas. Very good. One more time. Ready? Okay. Go bananas, go bananas. Go bananas, go bananas. Yes, I kid you not, this worked every time. I knew nothing about American football, but when we could see that the coach was tense, the group was tense, we could read the room. We would bring out this voice of happiness, of something interesting, and the whole crowd would send really good energy to the team. And the power of being different, the power of embracing who you really are, is that you might be the only person in your group friends who really likes to do a certain kind of thing with music or dance or sports. But your true friends, your bunch who will support you, they're going to love you for who you are. They're going to help you go bananas with your own thing. And you'll do the same for them. You'll be interested. You'll move a little bit into that direction and say, tell me more. What is this thing you're working on? How can I do something like that? And the power of being different and confident in your trademark difference is that we need your voice, and we need new ways of thinking about problems. And we need new creative folks coming together. So this Go Bananas moment for me was always so fun because it completely transformed the energy. From tense, will we win this game, to something light and fun. And it doesn't have to take much to really transform things. The friend of yours that I asked you to think about, the one who makes you laugh, think of them as somebody you could help lift into their next trademark event or space or experience just by being you. They chose you and you chose them to be a bunch of bananas together. And if you ever think, well, one person can't make a difference or one friend can't make a difference, I'd love to remind you that one person in Iceland decided once upon a time to try to grow bananas in a greenhouse using volcanic geothermal energy. And Iceland actually exports bananas to Greenland. This is not a tropical nation. The darkness in the warehouse area where they're growing is such that there's only 4 hours of sunlight in the growing December season, but it's enough. So one person makes a difference, one friend makes a difference, and you, and your trademark different self, you absolutely make a difference when you allow yourself to be who you are. One of the co-founders of Pixar, the animated cartoon from Northern California, they had to create the software to run their idea, Pixar. But to make the software run, they had to create the hardware. And it was a bunch of goofy banana, mostly men, in the 1970s in Northern California, experimenting, tinkering, and having fun. And Ed Catmull today, one of the co-founders, he says, every group needs someone who thinks a little bit differently because they're a catalyst to others to signal that it's okay to be different. And Ed continues to say, but not everybody can be different. After all, he is running a company. Not everyone can be different because then nothing would get done. So I encourage you whenever things might need a little lightening up, and maybe you need to take a break from all the things you're doing, to find your friend, to find your tribe, and to let your voice out, be your different, beautiful self, and go bananas.